Today, I just want to very briefly tell you what exactly is going on in India. So India is the largest democracy in the world. Uh, India has 1.4 billion people. 80% of India's population is Hindu. About 15% is Muslim. And then we have Christians, we have Buddhists, we have Sikhs, Jains, and many different religions. And then, as you know, in Hinduism, there is like a caste division, although many people simply do not recognize it or simply, do not follow that system, myself being one of them. But all this is a very diverse kind of a country. What RSS is doing is that with its very regimented, totalitarian kind of doctrine and policies and practices, it is trying to destroy this religious and cultural and linguistic and regional diversity, and trying to create a very monochromatic Hinduism-based India that they now call Hindustan or Bharat. That is their interpretation. So obviously, when they first began way back when in 1925, almost 100 years ago, they built the organization totally on the footsteps of Hitler and Mussolini and brown shirts. So they're the way they organize, the way they have one supreme leader, the way they completely deny practically the existence of Islam and other religions in India, the way they hate Muslims, Christians, and communists and socialists of any kind. They all are very stark reminders of what happened in 1930s Germany and Italy. So obviously at that time, I didn't know anything like that. I had absolutely no knowledge. And now the difference, what has happened in recent years, by the way, this book, I strongly encourage you to go to my personal blog, and I'm going to write in the chat box the blog's link. It's onefinalblog.com. Onefinalblog.com. You can go there, and I have actually put the entire book for a free download. So, and the reason I've done it is only because I really want people to know, especially friends like you, what exactly is going on in India and how serious the situation is. Because India is really almost on the brink of a total fascism. And if in 2024, in the next parliamentary election, if Modi's people, BJP, which is the political wing of RSS, I'm going to talk just a little bit about that in a minute. But if they come back to power one more time, then basically India will lose its constitution. India will lose its diversity, its multi-religious existence, and it is definitely going to fall under fascism, and we do not want that. So I have been actually working with Rahul Gandhi, and under his leadership, a new coalition of different parties has come together, and I have been working with them remotely. And that is one of the main reasons I'm actually going back to India in early December to spend about 3 months. And at that time, I think the election will happen. So RSS, if you follow my book, and I'm going to show this to you very quickly, you don't really have to get it all tonight, but basically, this is a chart that I put together in my first book, where I have shown how the organization is built. So RSS is the mother organization, and they have different offshoots. One is obviously BJP, and they have BJP is their political wing. ABVP, I'm not going into the total, like the full names. I'm just giving you the acronyms. If you want, I can give it to you later sometime. ABVP is their student wing, militant far right student wing, and I was actually the state secretary of ABVP when I quit RSS. BMS is their trade union. It's a national trade union, very powerful, and VHP is their religious organization. So this is how they work. And many people, many people, including many political activists, simply do not know the connection between RSS and BJP. They think that many people think that BJP is just like another political party, just like Congress or communists or whatever many different parties we have. But BJP is not just another political party. BJP is the political wing of RSS, and RSS is actually pulling all the strings from behind. For example, today's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a lifelong RSS activist. The Minister of Internal Affairs, who is very powerful, Mr. Shah, is also a lifelong RSS activist, and so are all the other ministers and major party leaders, and some states are also ruled by BJP, the political party, and the chief ministers of those states are also lifelong RSS activists. So they were nowhere, and again there are so many striking similarities between the rise of BJP as the most powerful political party in India and the rise of the Third Reich in 1930s Germany, like unbelievably striking similarities. They both came to power through violence, inciting violence, creating violence, planting violence, assassinations of major political leaders, and voices of dissent, silencing the opposition, gagging on the media, and basically creating a corporate media that is basically has become the sole mouthpiece. And Modi, in his almost 10 years of tenure as the prime minister, never faced a single press conference throughout. It's like the way Trump did it in his 4 years, never really faced a press conference. So they have really copied from their strategies. And obviously, we all know that Modi was a big friend of Trump. They campaigned for each other. Trump campaigned in India for Modi, and Modi returned the favor by campaigning for Trump here in America, in New York and Los Angeles. They had big rallies. But guess what? Just very recently, Biden and Kamala Harris invited Modi and gave them like a red carpet welcome in Congress. In fact, it was unbelievable that they give like this type of welcome to somebody whose U.S. visa was once revoked by the U.S. government because of his alleged deep involvement with the anti-Muslim riots and genocide in the state of Gujarat when Modi was the chief minister of that state. So all these things are going on right in front of our eyes. And because, especially if you think about Brooklyn for Peace or, American activist organizations that look at things differently and do exemplary progressive work. Many of us simply do not know the gravity of the situation in India because obviously we are so overwhelmed with things that are happening in other parts of the world, Syria and Iraq and Afghanistan and now Israel and Ukraine, and all these things are happening. And all these people, they actually work together. So Modi is a very big admirer of Netanyahu and vice versa. In fact, he is the first prime minister in India who openly supported the politics of Netanyahu after this carnage that happened after the Hamas bombing. So we don't really have to support Hamas terrorism, and I definitely do not support that, but I have very, very deep reservation about the way Israel is doing its politics. In fact, from Columbia, when I was a grad student, I had a very precious opportunity to travel to Israel and Palestine and Jordan as a member of a journalist team. And I have actually talked to many people in Israel and Jerusalem in particular, went to the office of Haaretz newspaper and talked to their journalists. And many of us came back with this knowledge and education that Israelis are actually much more liberal. Israelis living in Israel, many of them are actually much more liberal, and they want peace than many other people that we have seen here in the United States. So again, media does a very sinister role, and I am a student of, follower of Chomsky, so I know how manufacturing consent works. Brooklyn for Peace has given me an incredible opportunity to talk about the rise of fascism in India, and particularly the organization called RSS and their political wing, BJP. And I would like to stop at this point and then try to answer any questions you may have. But again, before I close, I would very strongly advise you to download the book from the blog site that I gave you. And if you can read it, you can find many other pieces of information that I simply didn't have time to elaborate at this moment.
Somebody asked about Rajiv Gandhi's house arrest in India.
No, Rajiv Gandhi is long gone. This is the son of Rajiv Gandhi. His name is Rahul Gandhi. So Indira Gandhi, so basically the chronology very quickly is that the first prime minister of India after independence was Jawaharlal Nehru. And then his daughter Indira Gandhi became the prime minister, and she was one of the most secular and, well, along with her father, progressive leader that India had seen. She was assassinated by, like I said, Sikh separatists in 1984, and many people think that CIA was behind it. I don't know. I was not there. Then, I mean, CIA has been involved with many such assassinations all over the world, so I'm not surprised. Then Rajiv Gandhi became the prime minister, and he was killed, this time by Tamil separatists in a southern state in 1989, when I was already here in the United States, working as a graduate student in biology in Illinois, in southern Illinois. So Rajiv Gandhi was murdered, and then Rajiv Gandhi's wife, Sonia Gandhi, took charge of the Congress party, but she was never really recognized by mainstream India because she happens to be an Italian woman. So India's people, ordinary people, especially thanks to the media, never really accepted her as their leader. But then Rahul Gandhi now has risen, and he has become the most important opposition leader. And under his leadership, a new political coalition has formed. And as I said, I am in close association with them and working with them from the United States.
Okay, another question asks whether Modi was ever held accountable for his role in the massacre of Muslims in Gujarat.
Yeah, he was. But then basically the court exonerated him.
Okay. The next question is, do you think Modi will try to erode democracy as Orban has done in Hungary, or do you worry he will stay some sort of, says an out, maybe it means a coup?
Yeah, I think that is the plan, because again, remember, RSS is the mastermind. They are behind all of it. So RSS never really believed in this type of pluralistic democracy in India. They were always against it. They actually never really followed the Indian national anthem. They never really hoisted the Indian national flag at their meetings and branches when I was there for a very, very long time. And RSS basically wants to do away with the Indian secular and pluralistic constitution as we know it.
The another question, please, this is the last one I have, so please feel free to ask some more. Asks, what is India's role vis-a-vis BRICS?
Well, India is a member of the BRICS country, and it is it's somewhat like Trump's policy. It's like, they really do not like it, but they simply cannot completely get out of it. So it's like a bittersweet relationship with BRICS.
Please, are there any more questions? Well, let me while we're waiting for some, let me ask another. You mentioned Modi's improving relationships with Biden and Harris. Does the fact that Kamala Harris is the first person of Indian descent to serve as president?
Well, that is definitely a reason, but that is not a primary reason. I don't think. I think the primary reason Biden has embraced Modi is because basically the U.S. economy is in very serious trouble, and war is the biggest industry that we have here. I mean, I've actually taught my labor union workers, and they were shocked to know it. I actually asked them to do their own research as to what are the three biggest industries that we have here in the United States. And after their research, they found out that the number one industry is war and arms industry. And that is number one. And then number two, believe it or not, it is the drug industry. And number three is the porn industry. I mean, these are the three biggest US industries. I mean, I was shocked myself. I had no idea the order. I thought that maybe the car industry would be number two, and the retail industry would be number three. I had all kinds of notions, but then we did some serious research, and it turned out that number one is war and arms industry, number two is drug industry, number three is porn industry. So India is the biggest open market today, and it is completely privatized. Since the fall of the Soviet Union and since the demise of Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi, India has become like a complete open floodgate for multinational corporations, and US corporations have become the primary beneficiaries. So Biden needs a market where they can sell American products, from pizza to Coke to guns and media and real estate and insurance and car and whatnot, everything. McDonald's to McDowell. So basically, that is why he has embraced Modi shamelessly, and people should know how the American politics works and how the two parties are basically, cajoling and embracing dictators and tyrants all over the world.
An audience member asked, is there a military draft in India?
There is no military draft, but I wouldn't be surprised if they started it if they win in 2024. But they have started. I did not want to mention it, but I might as well, because today, as you know, the mass shooting took place in Maine, where 18 people were killed. And India, in many places, they have started NRA type clubs, gun clubs. So I wouldn't be surprised if something very unfortunate happens in the coming days and coming years.
Okay, we have time for one last question. Asks, can you say a little bit about Kashmir and what is happening there now?
Yeah, they have completely closed off Kashmir with absolutely no access for the opposition and media, other than their own, like propaganda media, and basically they have destroyed the pluralistic, unique politics and constitution that Kashmir enjoyed for a very long time. The main reason is that they are trying to turn over the pristine land of Kashmir to their own corporate businessmen. Two corporate organizations led by one is known as Adani. I should write it down. Adani is one. Adani and then Ambani. These are all from the state of Gujarat and that area, by the way. So Adani was nowhere. Nobody knew him. But then just in 10 years, being one of the most reliable corporate tycoons, very close to Modi, he has become, in 10 years, believe it or not, he has become the third richest person in the whole world. And these private businessmen have become the biggest beneficiaries of under the Modi government, and the real estate in Kashmir is so pristine and so prime that they are basically turning that over to some of these corporate giants.
I guess we do have time for one final question. Somebody has asked about. Wait, I've lost the. Has asked about, does Modi's government control the educational system in India, and particularly the content of textbooks?
Yes, just like here, in the Bible Belt, they have banned education on evolution, scientific evolution, number one. Number two, they have basically deleted the history of the 500 to 600 years of Muslim rule in India completely from the history books. So people cannot have any access. Young people would not know what that period was all about. And there is like a complete, very, very scary type of Islamophobia that is happening throughout the education space. And then recently they have brought in like strange ideas in the name of science into the educational curriculum that sort of glorifies ancient India and what it was like 5,000 years ago. Obviously, there is no information, no validation, but they are bringing that in as a scientific document and including it in the textbooks.
Let the audience know what they could do. What can the audience do to protest against Modi's actions?
Well, basically, yeah, that is a very good question. So, there's a whole bunch of congressmen and congresswomen. In fact, when Modi came to America just like a couple of months ago and was given a red carpet welcome in Congress, some 75 to 80 congressmen and women, it was like a historic event. They actually wrote a letter of protest and sent it to Biden, strongly criticizing Modi and the history of his politics and racism, misogyny, that is going on in India. So we can definitely approach those members of Congress. There is one member, and I know her personally, Pramila Jayapal, who is a congresswoman from the state of Washington, from Seattle. She happens to be from India, Indian descent. Then obviously we have Kamala Harris, but I don't see much hope there. And then we have this this progressive group, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and all these people. You can write them and you can tell them what is going on in India, so that there is a serious effort by the United States government, put pressure on the United States government so that they do not condone this politics of hate and violence and racism and Islamophobia in India. And especially in 2024, there must be a free and fair election, so that it is not rigged, it is not manipulated, and things like that. That is something that you can definitely do.
হিমেরু রাতে ওই গগনের দ্বীপগুলি রে হেমন্তিকা করলু গোপন আঁচল ঘিরে ঘিরে ঘিরে। হিমেরু রাতে ওই গগনের দ্বীপগুলি রে জ্বালাও আলো আপন আলো সাজা